Ena's responsible for quite a number of the people here who have since served on the committee. Getting sucked in the first place, I think, is how we put it. So Ena, come on, you were a student when you joined first.
Yeah, I answered. For me, the journey 20 years ago was an ad in the back of the Irish Times, asking women interested in setting up a network and support group for women in technology and science to come along to McKinsey House at 8 o'clock, I think on a Tuesday evening. And like today, I think you had glasses for about 20, and about a large number of people came. About 40 people or so turned up on a quite a wet night, and that was sort of the decision to talk about this issue and to form the committee from my perspective. And I think I stood up and said there are no problems with women and it's all in your head. and that got me onto the committee. With all these knowing women going, you ain't seen nothing yet. So DCU is actually very supportive of WITS in the beginning. We did our founding events, and there's a funny story about the first year of WITS, which was Mary Robinson became our first president in the first year of WITS, and I promptly went up to the then president, Danny O'Hare, and said, can I have the use of a hall for the day for a group of girls? And he was completely supportive of it, but they ended up with this big problem, because Mary Robinson, there's a protocol about presidents visiting university campuses. So we were going to be the first people having Mary Robinson to a university, and she hadn't met the president. So Mary Robinson had to come out to DCU the day before our event to formally meet the president in order to be able to come the next day on the Saturday to launch WITS at the formal inaugural launch. So I thought we didn't even know our power at that stage. But that's for me the early stages on the committee were first of all learning committee skills. I'm now on the board of a number of things, and I would have learned a lot of how to do those things, how to take on board issues, the structure of actually doing committees, all that sort of stuff, all through WITS. And that was when I was doing my PhD, and it stood to me till today. You having a suggestion, and then that usually meaning you had to follow through. Because no one else will. That stood to me today, and I've a large number of friends. But the issues that have changed, there were no gender statistics for the participation of girls in science in schools. So when WITS started, it'd be good to have more girls was a statement. It wasn't followed then by facts in terms of participation across studies. So there were some very early questions asked that got research out there, and therefore you could go in and sort of say, well, which schools? Was it co-ed schools? And you could start to drill down. And the data were there, as Mary pointed out. It's just nobody had thought to pull them together and build up a picture of what participation was. Equally, the talent bank started around naming and shaming. On the government produced this policy document saying they wanted 40% participation of women on government boards, and the same people ended up being appointed to them, and the participation rate was less than 15%.
Mm-hmm.
And so we looked for a woman, but we couldn't find one, and that was usually the response. So we started the naming and shaming of boards and produced an international sort of search process headed by, it was UCD chemistry. Dermot Donnelly chaired the process, and you had to apply for this. Said here's one we prepared earlier, the Delia Smith response. So next time you're looking for women, here they are. So for me, there's been a number of very good journeys. When I went through some of our own databases in preparation for this, there were nearly 2,000 names of people through corporate membership, individual membership, who've been part of this 20-year journey. Not everyone has stayed along for the whole time. Aileen's there, there's a few people, Helen, a few of us who've stayed on, but different people have come in and out. When I came back from France, having done a postdoc, it was the Cork group of WITS that were active then was a great way to meet people in the Cork area. And when I came back up to Dublin, having been away for a while, it was good to meet up with people and find out what was happening. So if anything, all I can do is, it's been a great way of meeting people and exploring issues and joining. Before social networking, we'd WITS networking, and maybe with Girl Geeks we can actually find out a little bit more about how to use the new tools and technologies, and you gain something from our experience to date on this journey. Thanks.
Thanks, Ena. Thank you. Well, thank you. That's it.